Hey guys, it's Alexandra from EyeLoveKnots.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super cute little bag. I refer to them as soap cozies or small gift bags because they are great for both of those things. You can use it in your bathroom just as decoration with soap inside or like a lavender satchel. You can use them as gift bags, especially if you want to do some earrings. You can put it in a small box and throw it in there. Or a gift card. It's also great for favors at a party. You can fill it with candy and all kinds of goodies. I like to make mine with worsted weight cotton yarn. So for this one I am using WeCrochet Dishie yarn. It works with other fibers as well. If you were going to use a yarn like Red Heart Super Saver, you would just want to go up a crochet hook size. The cotton fiber allows for the stitches to be more relaxed, so it's going to be larger than if you worked it in an acrylic yarn, as the stitches would be tighter. So just go up a hook size. For this sample, the blue color is called Azure and the yellow color is called Bumblebee. And then we have white. You'll need about 50 yards of yarn for this little bag. With my Dishie yarn, I'm using an H8 5mm crochet hook. You're going to find the written pattern for this at EyeLoveKnots.com and linked in the description below. I have two versions of this bag. Originally, I worked my bag in Lily Sugar and Cream with 3 colors of yarn because I wanted a candy corn themed bag. So I have the instructions for working in Lily Sugar and Cream yarn, and because Dishie yarn is a little bit thinner, I also have instructions for working in Dishie yarn, but this video is going to show you how to work it in Dishie yarn, so I will be following that pattern. But no matter what type of yarn you're using, the concept is the same. Both pattern stitches are done the same, it's just the stitch count is different and the number of rows is different. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a slip knot, so I'm going to pull the working yarn over my fingers here, wrap it around my index finger 2 times, hold the tension with my middle finger and my thumb, pull the loop that's on the left up over the other one but not off my finger. Then I'll pull the loop that's on the left now up over the other one and off my finger. I'll take my crochet hook, insert it right into the loop on my finger and pull it off. I'll hold the working yarn with my right hand and I'll pull the short tail end with my left up to normal tension. I'm going to start with a chain 16. To chain, we yarn over our hook and pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. There's 3 chains. I want 16 in total. There's 16 chains. I'm going to work 2 half double crochets into the second chain from the hook. We don't count the loop that's on our hook. There's 1 and there's 2. I'll yarn over, insert my hook right into the center of that chain, yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Then we'll work 1 more half double crochet into that same exact stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into the center of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. In the next stitch and the remaining stitches up until the second to last stitch, we're going to work a single half double crochet in each stitch, yarn over, insert my hook into the center of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and continue across the chains. There's my second to last stitch. In the last stitch we need to increase, which means we need to work a few stitches in there. So we're going to work 3 half double crochets into that very last stitch. All of them worked right into the center of that chain. As you work, this hole is going to get larger because this tail is not secure. You can just hold on to the chains with your right hand and pull on that tail end to close up that hole, and we'll secure it at the end when we weave in our ends. I'm going to go ahead and rotate my fabric now. We just finished working here on this right side. We're going to continue working along the left side, which is the opposite side of the foundation chain. And in the end we'll create an oval here. I'm going to just rotate my fabric a little bit so that I am in a better position to work into those stitches. And then it's going to be 1 half double crochet into each of those stitches up until you get to the first stitch. As I work, I'm going to crochet over this tail end for a few stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch as normal, and I want that tail end to be over my crochet hook as well. And then I'll complete my half double crochet. I'll just hold that tail end right against the chains so that when I yarn over and insert my hook into the next stitch, I pick up the chains and that tail end on my hook and crochet over. And then I'll work just one more. I'm only going to do 3 stitches crocheted over the tail end, and I'll give it a tug, and then I'm going to drop it. I don't want to keep crocheting over it, I just wanted to work over a few stitches, and then that's one less pass I'll have to work when I actually weave in my ends later. I'm going to continue half double crocheting across. And now I'm back to the very first stitch. I just worked the stitch right before the first one. I need to work one more stitch in that first stitch so that will be 3. So I'll yarn over, insert my hook right into the same exact stitch that first stitch is worked into, and complete my half double crochet. Then I'll insert my hook right into the very first half double crochet, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop on my hook to complete a slip stitch join. I'm going to pull up this loop really quick so I don't lose it. In this round we should have 32 half double crochets, and to count that you can count each one of these V shapes on the top. Each one of those is a stitch. I actually find the easiest way to do it is before I join, because sometimes I confuse that with a stitch, that slip stitch join. So here's before the slip stitch join: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you'll continue all the way around until you're back to the beginning. And this stitch right here is the first half double crochet. That will be number 32. If you don't have 32 stitches, then you may need to check your work and see if you missed a stitch or if you added an extra stitch. I'll insert my hook back in here, complete the slip stitch join again. That's just insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop on your hook. And round 1 is finished. Gauge for this project is not terribly essential unless the finished size of the bag is essential to you. If it is, then you'll want to take gauge. Here is my first round, and it is measuring 4 inches long by 1 1/8 inches wide. If you meet my gauge, then your bag will come out the same size as mine. If you're measuring smaller than this, then you'll want to go up a hook size and work the sample again. If you're measuring larger than this, then you'll want to go down a hook size and measure again. If the finished size isn't essential to you, then you can just move forward regardless of what yours is measuring. I'm going to work round 2 in the same color. I'm going to start with a chain 3. And then I'm going to work a treble crochet. Some other people call it a triple crochet. I'm going to work that stitch right into the very first stitch that my chain is coming out from. To work this stitch, you're going to yarn over 2 times, so you have 3 loops on your hook right now. Insert your hook into that very first stitch, yarn over, pull through. You now have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. This row is going to be a mashup of stitches that's going to give us different levels for our ripple in the remaining rounds. So we're going to continue working a variety here. The first one is that treble crochet. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet. We yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we half double crochet into the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's the same stitch we worked in the beginning. The next 3 stitches are going to be single crochets. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Single crochet into the next stitch as well. And then we're going to work back upwards. The next stitch will be a half double crochet. The next stitch will be a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then our repeat begins again. The next stitch is a treble crochet, yarn over 2 times, so there's 3 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are now 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch is a double crochet. Then we have a half double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, and then we work back upwards, half double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, and then begin the repeat again. So you're creating a ripple in this round that all the remaining rounds will just be worked on top of. This is going to give the shaping. So that treble crochet is right at the top, then double crochet, half double crochet, 3 single crochets, half double crochet, double crochet. You're going to repeat that all the way around until you get to the beginning. The last stitch before we join is going to be a double crochet. Alright, so I've worked all the way around. My last stitch here is a double crochet. Now we need to slip stitch join to the first stitch. We're not counting our beginning chain. We're going to slip stitch join to the top of that treble crochet. So I'll insert my hook right into the top of that stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on my hook. And round 2 is complete. In row 3, I'm going to introduce a new color. You can work in any color sequence that you like, so if you don't want to introduce a new color now, you can just continue working in the ripple pattern. You can attach your yarn in any way that you are most comfortable with. I personally like to slip stitch join my round and then pull my new color through the loop that's on my hook and then pull that down and it will disappear. I'll show you. So I've slip stitched my round. Here's my new color. I'm going to leave a tail end long enough that I can weave in, form a loop above that, put that loop on my hook, pull it through, and then I'm going to tighten that blue strand so that that loop will disappear. And then I will go to my new color, which is yellow, and I will chain 1. And I continue to go back and pull it down if that blue or that other color that you're switching from comes up, because it's not secured yet, so it will come up as you work. But I just pull it down and it disappears. And this is the way that I like to work my color changes. It's very seamless. Alternatively, you could fasten off the blue, attach the yellow, and start your next round that way, and then just weave in all your different ends. I am going to carry my yarn up so that I don't have to weave in as many ends. Round 3 and the remaining rounds of the body are going to be worked in double crochet. We're going to start with a chain 2. I already have a chain 1 there, so I'll add one more to make chain 2. And I'm going to double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. Right now it looks like our first stitch is hanging over the chain 3 from below, but we want our first double crochet to be worked into that treble crochet, which is the first stitch of the round where we slip stitch 2. So I'm inserting my hook right into that very first stitch and completing a double crochet. I'm tightening my blue up. And then I'm going to continue. I need double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, and 3. And if you're thinking about it stitch-wise, that is the treble crochet you worked into, then the double crochet, and then the half double crochet. And now we're going to work a double crochet 3 together decrease over the next 3 stitches, which are single crochets. To work this decrease, we yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. There are 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leaving 2 loops on my hook. Then yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leaving 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. I now have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that is going to basically turn 3 stitches into 1. Then I'm going to continue working. I will double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So I've worked a double crochet into the half double crochet and double crochet, and now we've reached the next treble crochet. In that stitch, we're going to work 3 double crochets, all into the same stitch. we need to keep the stitch count even. So where we took away these stitches down here in the decrease, we added the stitches here in the increase. And this is what you do when you are making a ripple stitch. You need to have peaks and valleys. We're going to double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And then we'll double crochet 3 stitches together, yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leaving 2 loops on there, yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only, yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, I have 4 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to work 3 double crochets all into the very next stitch. This is what begins your repeat, the 3 double crochets into the next stitch. I'm just pulling up a loop so I don't lose it. Continue working across the round. That's 3 double crochets into that stitch. Double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Double crochet decrease. Double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then you're back to the top again. 3 double crochets into that next stitch and work down. When you get to the end, you're going to have worked a double crochet, and then we're going to join. Alright, there's my last double crochet of that repeat. I have done a double crochet 3 together, double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We need to work 1 more stitch in the first cluster to complete that increase. To help keep my seam straight, I'm going to work that stitch into this stitch over here just to the right of the beginning chain, and not into the same stitch that the first double crochet was worked into. This stitch over here to the right is like the slip stitch from the previous round. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook right into that stitch. It's going to be tight, and I'll complete my double crochet. We're going to count the beginning chain 2 as a stitch here. That will be the first double crochet, then our first stitch is our second double crochet, and the one we just worked will be our third double crochet that completes that cluster. I'm going to slip stitch join to the top of the beginning chain 2. So I'll insert my hook right into the top chain of that. Before I complete my slip stitch though, I'm going to take that blue yarn from below, I'm going to bring it up over my hook so that it's right there next to where I just inserted my hook. And when I yarn over and pull through, I'm going to pull through that blue strand and the yellow stitch, and that just puts me in a better position to grab it for the next round when I change colors. If your color change is showing through here on the bottom, just tug on your tails that are on the inside from where you switched, and that'll go away and you'll have this seamless change right here. I'm going to drop my yellow, pick up the blue, yarn over, pull it through the yellow loop, and then pull on the yellow loop so that it disappears. Then I'll chain 2 and I'm ready for my next round. This is how I like to change my colors. I think it helps keep my seam straighter so it's not traveling. I think it keeps my color changes seamless so that you don't see too much of that when you're here changing without having to fasten off and sew in a bunch of ends. I don't like to sew in ends, so I like using these methods. On the inside, we're going to carry up our yarn. You're going to have floats there on the inside, as you can see with that blue over the yellow. But from the outside, you're not going to see it, so it will stay hidden. I'm just alternating 2 colors in this sample, blue and yellow. In my original samples, I did do 3 colors, and I did the color changes the same exact way. And when I carried them up the side, I just carried 2 of them together. I'm trying to find my seam there. You can see in this white stitch right here, there's an orange strand and a yellow strand. So I just carried both strands up at the end of each round instead of one. And then at the end of this project, I only had to weave in the beginning tails and the end tails. For round 4, we're going to double crochet into the very first 3 stitches. So the first stitch is going to be worked into that same exact stitch of the beginning chain that we joined to. Then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. And we'll double crochet into the next stitch as well. So the first 3 double crochets. Now we're going to work a double crochet 3 stitches together. You're going to notice that your double crochet decrease is coming up 2 stitches away. So the center of this next decrease you're working, you'll want to work it into the top of that stitch. So I'm working into the next stitch here. Then I'm working into the decrease from the round before, and then I'm working into the next stitch after it, and then I'll yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And I'll double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then I'm going to work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. You'll notice the next stitch is the center of the previous round's 3 double crochets. Then we'll work double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we'll decrease again, double crochet, starting in the next stitch, then working into the decrease from the previous round, and then the next stitch as well, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, 3 double crochets into the next stitch, which is the center stitch of that previous 3 double crochet cluster. And I'm going to continue working in this pattern all the way until I get back to the beginning here. My last stitch before my chain will be a double crochet. There I worked my double crochet decrease and then 2 double crochets, and I'm back to the beginning. I'm going to work 1 more double crochet the same way as I did in the previous round. Here's the beginning chain 2. I'm going to work that double crochet into that same exact stitch that is coming out from. And now I have the beginning chain 2, the first double crochet, and this last double crochet, and that completes the 3 double crochets from that cluster. Insert my hook into the top chain of the beginning chain 2, so there's the first chain, second chain, right into the center. Before I complete this slip stitch, I'm going to reach down. I'm going to tug on the yellow to tighten it from below, and then pull it up and over my crochet hook. I want it to lay flat and not be bunched up, so just make it a natural pull. Then I'll yarn over and complete my slip stitch. I'm going to drop the blue, pick up the yellow, yarn over, pull the yellow through the blue loop, then grab the blue strand and tug on it so the blue disappears. Then I'll chain 2, tug on the blue again just to make sure it's gone, and now I'm ready to work. This next round and the remaining rounds of the body are worked the same exact way as round 4, so we're going to double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. So the first one will be worked right into the top of that beginning chain. And double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochets. And we'll double crochet 3 stitches together, and the middle one will be the previous round's decrease stitch. Then double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets into the next stitch, which is the top center of the previous round's increase. Continue working all the way around until you're back to the beginning. There's my last decrease and the 2 double crochets, double crochet into the very first stitch where the beginning chain is coming out of. Slip stitch join to the top chain of the beginning chain 2, so there's 1 chain, 2 chains, insert my hook right into the center, grab the blue from below, tug on it to tighten that part below, pull it up and over my crochet hook, complete my slip stitch. Drop the yellow, pick up the blue, yarn over, pull it through the yellow loop, pull the yellow loop down to tighten, and then begin again with a chain 2. You'll want to work 8 rounds in total. That will give you a piece that's about 4 3/8 inches. In the next round, we're going to work around similar to the second one, but in a reversed way so that we can make this an even edge on the top. I already worked it before and I did it in this blue color, but I ended up having to add a round, so you will see the video and the colors will be in a different order, but you can just continue in whatever pattern you're using. So I'll show you how to do that round now. For this round, we're starting with a chain 1. I'm going to single crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. I'll tug on that yellow just to tighten up my beginning there. We'll half double crochet into the next stitch. Then I'll double crochet into the next stitch. Here's where we technically should treble crochet. This is the stitch from the decrease below, but when I was working a sample before, I realized that it was just too wavy here and I want it to be more even, so I'm going to work a double crochet there in the decrease stitch. And then we'll work another decrease, half double crochet into the next stitch, and now we're at the top where our increase is from our previous round. We're going to work a single crochet into each one of those stitches. This is the top of the repeat. Half double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, with the middle one being over the decrease. And we'll half double crochet into the next stitch. And we're back to the top of the repeat. Single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, half double crochet, start all over. Go ahead and work your round all the way to the end. After you work this half double crochet, you'll work 1 single crochet, and then we'll slip stitch join. And there's the end of this round. We now have a even edge there that we can build the end of our bag onto. We're going to build the Eyelet Row. I'm going to switch back to blue for it. And for this round, we want to start with a chain 4. That chain is going to be equal to our first double crochet and our first chain 1 space. Since it counts for our first double crochet, that's this stitch right here, we're going to skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. Then we'll chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Continue in this pattern all the way around. When you finish, you'll end with 1 stitch left unworked and a chain 1. Here's my last double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch. We're going to slip stitch join to the second chain of the beginning chain 4. So there's the first chain, second chain, insert right into the center, and then complete a slip stitch. And our eyelet row is now finished. We're going to finish this off with a couple rounds of single crochet, and then we'll add the tie, weave in our ends, and the little bag will be finished. The single crochet rounds are really easy. We start with a chain 1, single crochet into that same exact stitch as our first stitch, single crochet into the next space. We just insert our hook right into that space, picking up the chain on our hook, yarn over, and complete your single crochet. Insert your hook into the next stitch and complete a single crochet. Then insert your hook right into the chain space, picking up just the chain on your hook, and complete a single crochet. And we're going to continue single crocheting into each double crochet and each chain space all the way around, and then we'll slip stitch join. There's my last single crochet worked into that last chain space. I now have 32 single crochets. Slip stitch join to the first single crochet. I'm going to add one more round of single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch, and then single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Here's my last single crochet, slip stitch join to the first stitch. I'll pull up a loop real quick just so I don't lose it. Right now my little bag is measuring about 5.5 inches tall. If you would like a little bit more height, it will add a little bit more of a ruffle here when you put your tie and you close it. You can add another round of single crochet that'll give you about 5 3/4 inches tall. In my opinion, it always looks cuter with more of a ruffle up here. So that's completely up to you. I think I'm going to go ahead and add it to mine. So I'll do that off camera. And then I'll come back and show you how to finish off and add your tie. I got my third round of single crochet there. I'm going to go ahead and fasten the yellow and the blue off. I'll take the blue, I still have the loop on my hook, pull it up to break, and then insert from the wrong side to the right side into the same stitch I joined. Yarn over and pull that strand through to the wrong side. To weave in my ends, I'm going to turn my piece with the wrong side facing out. I'm just going to set this aside for a moment so I can make the tie, and then I'll weave all my ends in together. This is a great time to look at our float though. You can see how it's been carried on the inside there. But from the right side, you don't see it at all. I think for my tie I'm going to use this green color. This is called Honeydew. I'm going to start with a slip knot. I have the yarn pulled over my hand there. Yarn over my index finger 2 times. Pull the loop on the left up over the other one, but not off my finger. Pull the loop on the left up over the other one and off my finger. Insert the crochet hook into the loop. Hold the working yarn with my right hand and short tail in my left. I'm going to tighten. I'm going to start with a chain 2. I'm going to work 4 single crochets into the very first chain down here. Then I'm going to hold the fabric with my right hand, pull that tail end with my left to tighten that hole up, and slip stitch join to the very first single crochet of the round. Then I'm going to chain 62. That's 62 chains. Now I'm going to work 4 single crochets into the second chain, not including the loop on my hook, skipping 1 chain into that second chain. I'm going to work 4 single crochets. So I'm going to insert right into the center and complete my stitches there. Then I'm going to rotate it so that I can slip stitch join into the first single crochet there. And then I'll fasten off, pull up on that loop to break it, insert into the same stitch from the wrong side to the right side, yarn over and pull through. And now I'm ready to weave in all my ends. I threaded this yellow here. This is where I first added the yellow. I have my hand inside the bag. And when I weave in my ends, I do 3 passes. I'm just tugging. Then I'm going to just weave it vertically here. When I begin and when I end, I break the stitch in half, so I just insert my needle into the center of it, and that's going to help capture my yarn better. And I'm going to take it down through several of these stitches, and then when I come out, I'm going to break that stitch in half as well. I like to do 3 passes. I feel the most secure when I do that. You can stop after 2, or you can go to 4 if you need to. Whatever you need to do to make it so that you feel secure with your ends. I've inserted here into a blue stitch because it's just on this back layer. It's not going to be seen from the front side. That's 2 passes. And I'm just working into the same exact stitches that I started in. Vertically back and forth there. And here's my 3rd pass. Tug on it, but also flatten your fabric so that it lays flat, and then that can be fastened off. For the beginning blue end, I'm threading it here. I already crocheted over it once, so I only need to work 2 passes. I'm going to work back down since I crocheted over it up. Insert into the center of a nearby stitch here, down through those stitches, and out, breaking that stitch in half as well. And then 1 more pass, back through the same stitches. And I can fasten that off now. These I'm not going to do on camera, but I will weave this in through those yellow stitches there, and I will weave this in up and down here. When I come over here, for the tie, I have threaded my tapestry needle. I like to take it all the way around that center circle. Now I'm back to the beginning, and I will just cut right through the middle, breaking that stitch in half. Then I will go in a reverse direction. But right through the center. And I'm going to do 4 passes just for safety. Give it a tug, and now that's tight. The shape is off, but you can use your fingers to manipulate the stitches in the fabric, and it'll get to a round shape. This is the other side that we worked slightly different. So I'm just going to go into a nearby stitch and go upward so that I can come and work in a circular direction there. Because I want to turn this into like the same shape as the other side. I'm going to go upward here and continue across again, just so that I have stitches to work back down. And you can manipulate the fabric on this side as well to get you a more rounded shape. Then I'll come here to the middle of the front of my bag. I went ahead and flipped it to the right side and just thread it right through that eyelet row. And there we are. You can stick all kinds of things in there. You can do candy, you can do soap, you can do a little gift box like this one, put some earrings in it and put it in there. And then when you're ready, just tie it up. And you have a super cute little bag. I will admit that the green is not what I expected. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more pop. So I'll probably be making a different one and adding it in there. Maybe white. But for now, it's fine. Guys, thanks so much for watching my video. You will find the written pattern for this at EyeLoveKnots.com. I will link that in the description below. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video.